in the regular season. And the Cavaliers connection, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell on full display last night against the Magic. So let's check out some of the highlights here. I'm not sure how warm-ups, but that's neither here nor there.
Bay Buccaneers.
It is. Paolo Banchero hoping to stop a 5-game losing streak here for his Magic. Banchero backing down Harden, spins, gets that one to go, hits that jumper. And then midway through the first, Banchero gets it at the top of the key, knocks down the three. 16 points here in the first for him. But then under 8 minutes left in the second, Harden, how many times have we seen him do this, Tim?
Hey, he pioneered that step back and changed the entire league.
And then once you see it once, guard that man. Final seconds here.
You're going to foul him if you're not careful.
Paolo Banchero visibly frustrated there after that foul. That was just a tough move there by James Harden. So let's go ahead here to the final seconds of the third quarter after this. Mitchell spinning his way into the paint. Brian, he gets this one to go.
Is that a sunrise or a sunset in the lane?
I like that. He is hyped after that one. Under 7 minutes left in the fourth here. Harden behind the back to Max Strus. Oh, the Strus is loose, baby. He hits the three.
That was a crucial moment in the game, and he still threw that pass.
He's a showman. What can you say? He is the system.
Correct.
And then Mitchell, this is just a tough move by him. Really his signature, and gets the floater to go. Hyping up the crowd afterwards. Tough game.
Slide a step.
Final seconds of the fourth quarter here. Mitchell drives in the lane.
That was a crucial basket, too. How about that for analysis?
Finally, Donovan Mitchell looking like himself here, coming back after injury. 42 points in that one, and he recorded his third 35-point game against the Magic this season. And how about this? Only Michael Jordan has had more against Orlando in a single season in NBA history. But Perk, the Cavaliers, of course, that new wrinkle to their offense. James Harden, Donovan Mitchell together. Take us through what you saw last night that's a little bit different.
Well, Donovan Mitchell reminded us of who the hell he is. My apologies. First of all, hello, world, and happy Wednesday. But look, all the attention has been on James Harden and what he could do as a facilitator and how he's going to make the bigs and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen better. But he's also going to elevate the game of Donovan Mitchell, who, by the way, had a 42-piece wing dinner, all flats habanero style last night. And I want you to see this backcourt and see the IQ of James Harden. It wasn't the assist, but I love this action right here. Okay, you space the floor. You have one big on the floor, this guard-to-guard screen to get the mismatch. And now all of a sudden you have Paolo Banchero, who's pretty decent at sliding those puppies every now and then. But Donovan Mitchell then gets downhill, puts them in the blender, and finishes at the basket. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They go back to it. Now all of a sudden it's a mix-up on the communication. They don't switch. Donovan Mitchell is able to get to where he wants. He leads the NBA in floaters, and then that was part of his 42 points last night. Donovan Mitchell has never played with a guy like James Harden. And as we look at those numbers, second most in his career in all three categories this season. He has been playing at an all-NBA level.
And it looked a little bit different last night, right? James Harden set 7 on-ball screens for Donovan Mitchell. The rest of the time that he has been with Cleveland, he's only set 4. So I'm not necessarily saying we should expect this in the postseason, but right now, that's a positive that we're seeing for Cleveland. But Kenny Atkinson, he still had some critiques, even in a win. Afterwards, he said, quote, if we're going to play defense like this, that we are going to have a short playoff stint. So, Brian, how much of a concern is that side of the ball?
As a resident of Cavs Corner, I would believe that he said that.
Yeah.
Because this was an unserious approach to this game last night. Hey, it was a fun game to watch. Them and the Magic were running up and down the court. You don't win games in the playoffs 136, 132.
Sure.
This is what Kenny Atkinson has been saying. Over the last 15 games, the Cavs have been one of the best offensive teams in the league. James Harden has absolutely elevated their offense, but they've been one of the worst defensive teams. They're 21st in defense over the last 15 games. That is not the trend that you want to have as you go towards the postseason. And I think Kenny has been calling it out behind the scenes, and he decided after their 4th consecutive win that he wasn't happy about it to go in front of the scene.
He did it on our show when he joined us a couple of weeks ago, and he said, you know what, our rebounding, in particular our offensive rebounding rather, we need to clean that up. Now, is some of that not having Jared Allen? Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, and Jared Allen will be back soon, but when you bring in James Harden, like you said, you lift the offense up. But he's not a defensive-minded player. Donovan Mitchell, frankly, is not a defensive-minded player. They've got challenges, and I get, Kenny Atkinson saying, hey, that paint's going to be a sunset if we don't fix the defense. Now, I'll also point out, this was the 6th straight loss for the Orlando Magic. This is a team that had high expectations after making a massive splash of a trade to get Desmond Bane in there this summer, and it has been a disappointing season. If that trend doesn't reverse itself, it has a chance to be a summer of significant change.
No, I'm with you 1,000%, and it's all going to fall to me on the back of Paolo Banchero. Can he sustain that all-NBA level play that he's been showing over the last month or so? But I want to go back to the Cavs real quick, because Kenny Atkinson is right. And when I always look at the great or good defensive teams, it always starts in the interior. It always starts with the big man. It starts with your former Defensive Player of the Year in Evan Mobley, which is why he is still the most important player on that team if they're trying to get to the promised land. And he can elevate his game even more. If you're lacking on the perimeter as far as your defensive guys, you should be able to cover it up as far as your interior. Evan Mobley is too gifted, too talented, too mobile not to be able to be somewhat on Victor Wembanyama type status defensively.
That's
he won Defensive Player of the Year for a reason. He's 7-1. He should have some type of real impact close to Victor. I know they're saying a lot.
Jarrett Allen not going to play tonight.
Okay.
Back-to-back against Miami with his 10th straight game with knee tendonitis. I think they are targeting Friday.
Yeah.
They'll play Miami again. So maybe a reinforcements perk coming by the end of the week.
And I get you on that, but it's going to be a lot of times in this postseason, Malika, that they're not going to roll with that double big lineup. It's going to be Evan Mobley at that center spot, and he's a former Defensive Player of the Year. He's got to be able to hold it down without Jarrett Allen being on the floor.
Well, Kenny Atkinson did say after the game that Jarrett Allen is ramping up, so Friday would fit within that ramping up timeline there. We're also ramping up to some more March Madness here. The madness, it resumes.
Welcome back to SportsCenter. A potential NBA Finals preview comes your way tonight. Thunder and Celtics, the last two NBA champions. Joined now by the man who will be on site at TD Garden, our NBA reporter Vincent Goodwell. Vince, both teams should be at full strength tonight. We know Jalen Williams returned for the Thunder on Monday after he missed 26 of the previous 28 games. He had that right hamstring strain. What's he saying about getting back on the court and the measures he's taking to maintain his health?
Well, Courtney, I talked to Jalen Williams this morning at Oklahoma City shoot-around, and he said, you know what, the second and third games of coming back, that's the true test. The last time he came back, you mentioned 26 out of 28 games. The second game was where he felt that pop again in that hamstring. So to change things up, he said that through rehab, they rehabbed, they stopped, they did things to keep the body warm, and then they went back. They wanted to simulate going back and playing into games with the minute restriction that he's on. He and the Thunder both know that they cannot afford another hamstring pop with the playoffs less than 10 games away.
Certainly a huge part of that Oklahoma City Thunder lineup. Let's look at the other side of this matchup. There have been plenty peaks and valleys for Jason Tatum. It's his first 8 games back since returning from that Achilles injury, specifically shooting the ball. I know he's been a little inconsistent there. What can you share about his search for finding more consistency in that area?
Well, Courtney, the last 2 games, he's been in a bit of a slump, even by his standards, shooting only 28% in games against the Minnesota Timberwolves and otherwise. And he said, you know what, I wish that I could snap my fingers and be right back to being All-NBA Jason Tatum. That's what I expected. Clearly, with the injury and the slump, it's different. He said with the slump, it's not like any other slump because you're also through the course of rehabbing. But it's important to note, Courtney, that the Celtics are 6-2 since Jason Tatum has returned. So it hasn't been a lot of drop-off since Jason Tatum has integrated his way back into the lineup.
I'm hearing Tim McMahon in my head right now, basically telling us slow our roll here and let Jason Tatum get into a little bit more of a rhythm before we have any referendum on how he's been playing. We know that more than half of his shots so far have come beyond the arc, and he's only making 29% of them, so certainly trying to up that number just a bit. Vince, thank you.